J'aurais jamais pensé te perdre aucun risque. Pas de confidence, juste une danse sur la piste. Car je n'ai que du love pour toi en moi. Ma vie n'a plus de sens sans toi, yeah, yeah. Je t'aimerais encore, encore, encore plus, tu le sais. Les nuits sont fatales, je ne comprends pas. Je ne retrouve plus de force, tu crois donc je bois. T'es parti loin de moi, quand je voulais pas de toi. J'ai prié tant de fois, mais tu ne reviens pas. C'est devenu difficile sans toi, je peux plus vivre sans toi, mais tu veux vivre sans moi. Je vis mes soirées vivre sans toi, je peux plus vivre sans ça, car tu veux vivre sans moi. T'es parti loin de moi, quand je voulais pas de toi.
If you're new here, my name is Jackson. I share bodybuilding videos of my own journey. We're trying to get to 110 kilos in our off season at the moment, as well as I'm an online coach and I share training tips and nutrition tips. Today, I'm going to be taking you through a push day and I'm going to be showing you the 5 biggest mistakes that I've made in my own training and the ones that you can avoid so that you can actually make progress a lot quicker than I did. Had a coffee, going to get ready and get some pre-workout in. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on my end. We are currently 2 weeks out from actually starting our next push phase. So we've actually been on a cruise and a maintenance block to just go ahead and get blood work done, make sure everything's all good after the first official push. And now we did a bit of a mini cut as well. I'll put some videos up as well of like the current condition from my check-in the other day. But yeah, we're in a good spot. So we've got 2 more weeks and then we actually get to push the calories again, push the training, push the supplements, all the fun stuff. So we're almost there until we can start doing that again, which will be very, very exciting. As well as my carpal tunnel is a lot better. I had a cortisone injection around 2-3 weeks ago now. Since then, everything has gotten a lot better. So we've been able to train back properly again, which is good. I've been able to sleep without wrist splints on, which is always a good sign that things are getting better. Now, 2 more weeks and then we'll actually know whether it's worked properly or not. They always say the first 2 weeks are a bit of a facade and it just feels like it's really good, but just that the cortisone's like really working at its most there, whereas like it can start to wear off after 2 weeks. So we'll know by next week and I'll update you guys in the videos as we go. Currently in regards to my own training and my own condition, we are sitting at 84 kilos. I dropped a little bit more last week than I wanted to because we're not actually mini cutting anymore. So my coach gave me more food this week. So we're on 3,200 calories now. And I actually asked him to give me more protein because I don't know about you guys, but I really struggle to keep my protein down. Even if I've got like 3,500 calories, like I'm going to want to have more protein or I'm going to somehow get more protein in, because if I'm having more oats or I'm having more Weet-Bix or I'm having more cereal or I'm having more cream of rice, like there's more protein going in with that as well. So I've increased my protein from 170 to 200 grams, which I'm very used to eating as well. So it was very normal for me to having that much protein. If anything, it was a bit of a shock to have less than that. I remember when I did my peak week for my show, I was like, having like a very small amount of protein. I was like, how the fuck does anyone do this? But other than that, things are good. We're still doing 45 minutes of cardio per week. We're still training obviously 5 times and we're still averaging around 10K steps per week as well. So things are moving in the right direction. Obviously we're going to go train push today. And I'm going to run through exactly what that looks like. I'm going to do a bit of a voiceover for you guys. In the new gym, we are signing up to a new gym, which is extremely exciting as well. So I can't wait to, obviously you guys would have seen it in the last video, but I'm looking forward to being able to make more consistent content in that gym. Because I think, it's obviously something that I really enjoy doing. I'm really nerding out on the whole videography side of things at the moment. So it's really fun for me. That's really about it from my end in terms of updates. We're going to make some pre-workout. We're going to head to the gym and we're going to get into the push workout. So I'll see you guys at the gym. All right, guys, what's going on? Heading into the workout here, I started off with an incline dumbbell press. Now, I always do at least 1 to 2 warm-up sets when I'm doing my incline dumbbell press. From there, last week I hit 45 kilos, so I tried to give that a go again this week. We hit 45 kilos on the first set. We got 10 reps again, as same as last week. And then on the second and third set, I was able to get 9 and 8. So I actually was 1 rep shy less of last week, which is totally fine. These things happen. But in this movement, I'm really trying to focus on keeping my shoulder blades locked into the bench. Always is good for helping increase stability in the movement, as well as it just puts the chest in the best possible position to move the most amount of weight and put the most amount of tension on the chest. After incline dumbbell press, chest is a massive priority for us right now. So doing them first in the movement is really important. And we move on to an incline machine fly. This is like the second time I've actually used this machine, and I find that it's really smooth. It's not too heavy in the bottom. It's not too heavy at the top. I find with these machines, sometimes they can be a little bit too heavy in one or the other, but this one's really smooth. Same thing here, really trying to get a nice big stretch in that chest by keeping the shoulder blades back and down, keeping my chest nice and proud, keeping my rib cage really proud and my sternum to the ceiling. There's another great cue I like to use here when trying to target the chest in these incline movements. It allows us to get the most stretch in that position. And I got 3 sets here, all at 30 kilos for 12 reps. But in the workout, we have machine shoulder press. Now, usually I'd opt for the Arsenal one, which was right next to this machine, but as you can see, someone was using it, which is totally fine. We opted for a Cybex one instead. Now, I did like how smooth this machine was. As always, I'm trying the same thing, keep my shoulder blades nice and tight so my shoulders can be the main focus of the exercise. However, with this, I found that on the bottom, it was really wide. It was a little bit wider than what I'm usually comfortable with. I was still able to push it pretty hard. I was still able to get a lot out of it. Just not my preference for next time. I find that Arsenal press is just so smooth when it's plate loaded. I'm not a big fan of pin loaded shoulder presses machines, but this one did the job and we still trained it nice and hard. Fourth exercise we had was the front facing cable lateral raises. Now, this is one of my favorite cable lateral raise movements at the moment. Reason being is where the cable is set up, the tension is really consistent throughout. It's very similar to a dumbbell, except the resistance doesn't actually drop off at the bottom or the top. I find this to be a really good movement to throw into your program if you're someone who's already doing dumbbell lateral raises and you want another variation of lateral raises to do on a cable. I did 3 sets, 12 to 15 reps here, and it's a very challenging exercise and you're gonna get a great pump when you add this into your program. Then we finished off with the rear delt cable flies. This exercise and this machine is a very hard one to get used to if you're not someone who's done it a lot before. I find that you really need to work on being able to not let your shoulder blades do all the work, and you really need to try and isolate those rear delts as much as possible. The best way I've found to do this is by keeping the chest nice and upright, trying to reach far forward as you possibly can, and trying to bring your arms out wide rather than back. That way you're going to get the most tension on those rear delts. The cool thing about this exercise as well on this machine is you can actually adjust where it's the most difficult. So for me, I made it the most difficult in the beginning portion because that's when the rear delts are in their quote unquote the most stretched position. So 3 sets, 15 here, and that was the end of the workout. Hi guys, we are back at home. I trained push, made some eggs, we did some post-workout meal. I just got into a bit of work as well before that. I just want to break down the session and talk about some other things around training in general of some of the mistakes that I used to make. These mistakes I made very early on, and even some to this day, like I still make mistakes on. I think where a lot of people go wrong and where they tend to forget with training is that it's an ongoing process, right? Like you're always going to be looking for new things to try and improve on. Sometimes we can obviously take that too far, and you know, sometimes we can be a little bit ignorant and stuck in our ways, and I've definitely done both. But the first thing that I used to really make a big mistake on that was holding me back from a lot of progress was thinking that I needed to change my program all the time. You know, I was always thinking like I'm missing this exercise or this certain, you know, movement pattern is the reason that my chest isn't growing. Like I was someone that really had shit chest when I was coming up and trying to grow it, and you know, it's probably still, I'd say, a weaker part. It's definitely improved, but it's still a weaker body part per se. But I was always trying to think that tweak my program every single week, or I needed to add in this exercise in order to make progress, and that just couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is that if you want to make, you know, a lot of progress on a certain body part or just in general, the longer you do an exercise, the better you're going to get at it, the better your technique is going to get at it, and the more time you have to progress on it. So whether that means you're adding a 1 rep per week, or you're adding 5 kilos in the first few weeks and then adding 2.5 kilos per week, like that's still progression over the course of 8 to 12 weeks. For me personally now, all my programs go for at least 8 to 12 weeks. That is an absolute non-negotiable if you want to be making progress and you really want to take your physique to that next level. Now, obviously following on from that, the other thing that I used to make a mistake was that this is twofold, because I've actually been both ways, thinking that technique doesn't really matter and just the load and the intensity matters. Now, to a degree, that is the case. You know, intensity is mechanical tension, which is driven through intensity, is the main driver of hypertrophy and muscle growth. Now, not to get too technical with you you here, but that is definitely one of the things that's really important. But you can't neglect technique, because if you neglect technique, your ability to actually place tension on the muscle you're trying to train is going to be held back. The best way I can explain it is like, think of it as like a bow and arrow. Is like if you're trying to like hit a bullseye, your technique is your ability to target that bullseye and hit it every single time. Each rep is your ability to pull the arrow back and hit that bullseye. If you're missing the target, aka the muscle, with poor technique, your ability to get the most out of that muscle is going to be shit, and it's not going to grow. And then I've also gone too far with that, right? So I've gone too much on the technique, try to slow everything down, be super perfect technique, and then almost pull the weight back so much that it wasn't even difficult anymore. And then I wasn't progressing in reload because my technique wasn't good enough. You need to take these things with a grain of salt, and you need to understand that there's no such thing as perfect technique. And then you also have to make sure that there's a level of intensity there that's going to allow for progression and adaptation, that your muscles will grow and adapt and actually build muscle. And then the third thing that was holding my progress back was I was always rushing my workouts. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be in the gym for 3+ hours, 4 hours, but definitely you can get a decent workout in at least 45 minutes to an hour. But if you're in and out in 20-30 minutes, you could obviously be saying that there's something wrong there, and that can definitely be holding you back. Because what I mean by rushing your workouts is more so not taking the adequate amount of time to rest. If you're not resting enough between your sets, then your muscles aren't recovering enough between the sets. Therefore, you're not going to actually be able to do the weight or the load or the reps that you did last set or last week. If we go in and we do that incline dumbbell press and I didn't rest long enough between those sets, my ability to get 10 reps again is going to be held back. And there alone means I'm holding myself back. I'm holding progress on the table. And if I'm not taking enough time to rest between my sets, then I'm really not going to be able to give the best amount of effort and put myself in the best amount of position to really be pushing load, pushing reps, pushing intensity. Therefore, I'm not going to build as much muscle. So it's really important that the prescribed rest times you have in your workouts, that you are sticking to those, and you're not rushing through your workouts. You're not trying to just get it done as quick as you can. It's really important that you slow down, take your time, and do the right thing and try and get the most out of each set. The last thing that has probably the most important one, if you ask me, I wasn't doing what works best for me. If there's anything that you should take away from this, it's this. You could even forget everything else that I said. You can forget technique, you can forget rest times, you can forget programs. But if you're doing what works best for you, and this goes against all science bullshit, this goes against all everything, this is pure anecdotal. If you have gotten results a certain way, and you have gotten really good results doing things a certain way, then just keep doing it. For me, I have found that, based off my own research and based off my own experience, controlling my weight and doing 2 seconds on the way down on my rep and exploding up works really well for me. I get a mad pump, I can progress really well, I have good control, I get a good stretch in the muscle. I have found that 2 to 3 minutes is a really good rest period for me. That is also what's recommended based on a lot of the research I've done. I have also found that doing a program 8 to 12 weeks is what's best for me. But it's also what's recommended based on what the research has done. Why? Because I actually just went and did it. It's really important that the thing that you can take away from this is that you actually need to go and do the thing and find what works best. Go do high volume, go do low volume, go do shit technique, go do bad technique, go do good technique, go do perfect form, go do 1 minute rest periods. Just go do it. And I think that's the most important thing. We live in a time right now in a world where training and science and everything is so research and theoretical. There's not enough application. And if you are doing more application, we're going to learn the lessons a lot faster than what any book or what any textbook will teach you. So if you can take anything away from this, it's just go and do the fucking thing. Go and train a certain way and see if it works. If it doesn't, then great. Go on to the next thing and try that. I have found doing the basic movements, whether it's a row, whether it's a chest supported row, an incline dumbbell press, dumbbells, cables, just the shit that isn't super wild and takes forever to set up, works best for me. Training for 8 weeks on a program works well for me. This is how I train and this is what works best for me. And if I had done that a lot sooner, I would have made a lot more progress a lot sooner. So just go and see if it works. If it doesn't, then you can say I'm wrong. That's fine, but it works for me. So I can't be that wrong because it has worked to a degree and it works for my clients as well. It's really important that you just go and actually try shit on your own. That's it for the video today, guys. I hope you have found this very insightful, very educational, and you can take something from it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, you subscribe. Now, I apologize on something because the quality of this video may be very average. I am trying to learn how to color grade. I'm trying to learn how to make better quality content with, changing with formatting and different styles of filming and cinematic, quote unquote. But I'm still learning. So if the formatting and the quality seems really dark and flat, I apologize. I'm learning. I'm trying to make it better. I promise you, this is all just a learning experience and it will get better with time, but I appreciate your support nonetheless. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.